This is where the fun begins.
Clear eyes, full hearts, get loose.
King Kong ain't got shit on me!
And here we go.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Realish. I am your host, Derrick, joined with my other host, Cleo. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome. Well, glad to be here. It's hostess with the mostest. Derrick, thank you so much. So glad to be here today. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So we're here to discuss WandaVision and her MCU episode releases.
Yeah. So I know you haven't gotten into the show yet, so I'm not going to dive into everything that's been going on with the show. But
okay.
The one thing that I've noticed with WandaVision, in terms of the streaming aspect, is that it's being released weekly. That's opposed to the whole binge watching. Like we were used to, because like House of Cards and all of the shows that started this whole streaming thing with Netflix and all these other sites. Do you think we're headed back into that realm of weekly releases with shows?
Well, I do believe so, because even with other shows on Netflix, they've started to wait a week until they release another show out, even on Netflix. Mm-hmm. So for MCU to go ahead and join in, I think we are headed back toward we have to wait a week in suspense for the next show, because the demand for TV, I believe, has gotten high. And that may be due to current, economic circumstances, the pandemic and everything. Yeah. People are just inside watching shows a lot more.
Yeah, no, because I found myself liking it, even though I hate it at the same time, because I want to know what's happening next, right? So that's why I almost like try to wait sometimes to watch shows, because like it took me a while to get on Snowfall. I don't even know why, but I didn't start watching Snowfall until the second season ended. And now I'm hooked on it. So
I'm really just now getting hooked on Snowfall myself.
Oh, you just started?
Yes.
Oh, see, you're gonna love that, and it's gonna hurt by the time you actually catch up, and you gotta wait for the next week, because it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt because you're used to that going to the next episode, Which season? I mean, which episode are you on?
Oh, I'm not far in at all. I'm like on episode 2. I just
started the whole series.
I just started Snowfall. I've seen a couple more episodes watching with a friend, but I've just now started watching it for myself. And I don't feel like it'll be that hard for me, because, I kind of grew up in an era where we had to wait that week,
mm-hmm.
when we had Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and we had 24 hours, 24
yeah.
with, I forgot the actor's name,
Kiefer
but
Sutherland.
Bruce Willis. Who?
Bruce
Then I said Bruce Willis. I'm so wrong. I haven't seen that show in so long, but we have to wait.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Don't do that. It's been a minute, Derrick. It's been a little minute since I watched the show. I was such a child. It's baby.
Yeah. No, but
so I don't mind waiting the week. It just makes me more invested in the show. I feel like emotionally, and like I'm just more invested when I have to wait a week. So I didn't invest in my time, my patience. I didn't wait a whole week for this. It better be good.
Yeah, no, and I think what I actually like is that I hate getting on Twitter when I'm trying to watch a show that's about to come on, or it's already come on, but I haven't watched a new episode yet, because everybody's talking about it. You know how I had my DirecTV sign in messed up this past week, so I couldn't sign in to actually watch Snowfall live. So I had to literally stay off Twitter until Hulu posted the episode the next day, so I could actually catch up on it. But what I do like is that you're basically, how like they said they used to call like water cooler conversations, where you would go watch something and then you go to work the next day to discuss it with your coworkers and stuff like that. I feel like these type of weekly releases are recreating that type of conversation, because we're now all sitting here talking about different things. Like with WandaVision, you have conversations about what this particular incident could mean for the next episode or the MCU moving forward. With Snowfall, you have questions about what one character is going to do versus another and whatever storyline or whatever. It's just bringing those conversations back, and it's starting to make me remember how things used to be back when we never even had anything like Netflix or these other streaming sites. So I'm
And
actually
that's
go ahead.
I was second that motion because I can remember like running home to watch Passions with the family, and then this, all calling to discuss it on the phone when you had to call caller ID, right? And they were like, "Did you watch the episode?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you see what little Timmy did?" Like,
Yeah, and I like it. I like it. I hate it because sometimes you have to sit there and you just have a lot of anxiety and anticipation for what's about to happen. You don't want to wait, but it's not as long as it feels like. Like when the episode goes off, it feels like, oh, it's gonna take forever. Then you just go about your life, and all of a sudden, hey, boom, right there. We're right there with the new episode.
those first 2 days after the episode airs are usually the most treacherous.
Yeah.
You get to those two, you get through those two. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
and like the next few days is a breeze. And next thing you know, it's, oh, is it on again? Oh my!
Yeah, because we're coming up on the next episode for Snowfall Tuesday.
Yeah, but I've kind of been already in this dynamic with Legacies. I don't know if you've heard about the show Legacies.
Legacy.
It's a spinoff of the originals.
The originals. What's that?
Oh, you never seen the originals? Oh, you should. It's most definitely a great watch. I'm so shocked that you have not seen it. It's so good. Oh my gosh, you're gonna love it if you get a chance to watch it. You will love it.
What is that? Like a DC thing?
But yes, the originals. No, it's like I think it was a CW, if I'm not mistaken. I think it switched networks a little bit as well. But at any rate, it's on Netflix. The entire seasons where I first watched it, so I binged that. But once they did the spinoff, they did it on CW. I know for sure, and I had to wait each week to watch. And so I've grown accustomed to the new style of the binge is over unless you catch the show after the season has already aired. At this point.
Yeah,
it seems like that's kind of what we're back to, and I can't say that I'm extremely happy about it either. I don't think I like it.
You're not excited about the weekly releases?
I mean, no. I mean, I'm more invested in the show that way. I gotta say, I could give it a. I'm not a very patient person. I want to see what's going to happen today. I want to see it now.
Yeah,
it's my free time. I don't have time to wait till next week. I don't know if I'm gonna have free time then.
Yeah,
like that.
That's what I'm saying too. Is like it's very hard going from binging. We're used to binging to now sitting and wait. I think that's actually one thing. Like thinking back when I was a kid watching shows release weekly, sometimes I really wasn't like I would actually forget certain details about what happened, or I just wasn't paying attention to it as much to remember certain details. So I'm just looking at it as episode by episode. But then when you get to like watch them consecutively, that's one thing. Like I remember with Sons of Anarchy, I caught up on Sons of Anarchy like when I think they were like going to their second or third season. So I binge watched the first couple seasons on like Netflix, but then watched the rest live. And I went back to watch Sons of Anarchy again, like 2 years ago, I'd say. And that's some I'm seeing certain details that I don't remember seeing, or don't remember certain things happening, because when you're going week by week, the story, not that the story doesn't stick, but you forget specific things. And I sometimes didn't watch the recap. That's another issue. I sometimes wouldn't watch the recap. It's just I want to get into the episode. So yeah, but you know what that I blame
even
that
with
on
that recap, sometimes they'll still leave out some things that you probably should know from the last episode. So even the recap, but with today's technology, that kind of comes down to whether you want to watch the last week's episode before the new week's episode or not. Now I'm not going to do that.
Right,
the option is there now.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take advantage of it because I feel like that's too much. I'll catch up doing the show.
Yeah, but it creates that pressure for you to actually have to watch it within that first 24 to 48 hour window because of social media. Like I think if social media wasn't a factor, I would probably wait a couple of weeks, binge, and then I would probably do that. especially with shows being 10 episodes a season or something like that now. Where and I remember shows used to be like almost like 22, 24 episodes per season. So like even that progression alone was something that's very different. Um, but if we had the opportunity not get specific storylines ruined by social media, I probably would wait until everything was, aired and then go back and watch all at one time. Just because I like the binge feel. Like I just watched the Queen's Gambit.
The
Phenomenal
Queen's
show.
Gambit. I think I've heard of that. Someone told me to watch that.
Yeah, no, it's a phenomenal show. It's about chess, but you don't have to know chess to get into the story. Like I've always wanted to learn chess, but I never learned anything about it. And watching this makes me want to go ahead and start because it's different. But I can say that if that was a weekly thing, I don't know. I think momentum with specific genres or storylines could be intriguing with a weekly release. Because I don't some shows I don't know how have people uh, anticipating for more with way certain episodes end. But like shows with like Breaking Bad, for example, or The Walking Dead, those shows pretty much every episode you're thinking about a cliffhanger or something that makes you anticipate what's to come. But the Queen's Gambit, I didn't have much anticipation until the end of the series. So, but I think that's one thing though I will say is that I'm starting to like it. I'm starting to like it again because it makes
He
people.
said starting to like it again.
I am.
I don't
I
know.
am.
I don't know. I'm just kind of going with the flow of TV right now. I'm not gonna say I like it again. It's just kind of what they're giving me.
Right.
I don't like it. So I'm just gonna. I guess I don't like it then. I'm gonna be honest. I like the binging. I like to have control over when I watch it and how I watch it, and I don't want to wait. I don't
Mhm.
want to wait that extra week to watch the show. I just do not. I want to
Yeah.
be on to the next show by then. I want to get it done, but
Yeah.
I think we should see a heavy stride back to the weekly releases though.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's what everything seems to be transitioning to, including Netflix as well.
I'm sorry. Say that
I
one more.
was shocked when Netflix like, oh wow, like we're really going full fledged the weekly transition, even on Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with that. It is intriguing, but like another show that we both watched, Lovecraft Country. Was
Why do
that
you think
one?
they're doing that? The weekly trend back to the weekly transition.
That's the thing. I don't know. I really don't know. I think you can I think you can actually, you know what? Let me take that back. I think that streaming sites are starting to notice that their audiences are having these conversations as the show goes. Like for example, with Lovecraft Country, which we're going to talk about anyway, so we might as well get into it. But with Lovecraft Country, that was another thing that every episode after every episode, you would see everyone on Twitter getting into this big conversation about what events took place in that specific episode. And I think that streaming sites are starting to, over the last 2 years, see that dynamic and want to take advantage of that. That's my theory on it. I don't know if that's necessarily the case or that's just how producers want their shows to be, but I think that the weekly release is just another way to create that dialogue around each episode.
Momentum.
Yeah, because the more conversations you have around specific episodes, it's going to build that anticipation the entire season, as opposed to binge watching. If you just like release the entire season, you're not going to have that specific type of dynamic. You'll still have people talking about what you're doing, but the specific episode discussions aren't going to be there. So like
Yeah, like the episodes where you're you're calculating, okay, what's gonna happen next week based on what happened this week, in the back and forth banter that you kind of create with your friends and family or whoever else happens to see the show in passing. Like, what do you think is gonna happen next week? What do you think this character is gonna do?
Right.
Or how they're gonna solve this problem.
Right. Yeah. And that's
And then you have Twitter and Facebook where you get to talk on such a global scale with everyone.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I'm actually, maybe I shouldn't put this out there.
Just go ahead and throw it in the air, Derrick. Just
Maybe
we'll catch it.
I know, but I'm saying maybe I shouldn't because maybe it's something we create at some point. You know what? Let me keep that because we might create that. I'll talk to you about it off air.
Yes, do that because I was like, just let me know later.
Yeah, because that I don't want anyone to take that. I'm gonna have to write that one down.
But yeah, speaking of Lovecraft Country, because I've been waiting to discuss this. This show, I think this show was the first of its kind.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, in the storyline, the way they made the characters and the way they put everything together, I think this was really the first of its kind, which is what made it so unique and so what made it pop out to everyone because we've never had a show like this before, right. And I'm here for it. Let me tell you, I love it.
Did you like how they told Black history stories?
I feel like, as with most TV shows and movies about it, of course, it's watered down a little. Mm-hmm. I do feel like since they did give it a mystical edge, that it does lose some of its authenticity by right of that. Mm-hmm. But overall, I would say I'm okay with the way they depicted Black history. Mm-hmm. It was the moments in there where I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I necessarily feel like this is believable, but it was a fantasy. So yes. I wasn't really, focused more so on that, even though it was kind of centered around the Civil War era, Jim Crow and all of that.
Right. I know.
But it really opened my eyes to the fact that, when we're told that the North was free, but if this is going on where you need a travel guide to travel around to where it's safe, and how free is it really?
Right. And actually, you know what? Now that you say that, it just hit me. God, did you ever see that movie, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom?
No.
Okay.
Tell me about it. If it's relevant, just I'm not gonna be upset by Rainey's Black Bottom.
No. So that was around that time where there was a lot of there were a lot of Black families moving to the North because of the promise for jobs and all that stuff. And it's just hitting me when you said that, it just hit me that was the same time period that this was taking place. So I will say that the first episode, I think that was the first episode. Well, I'll say this. Lovecraft Country made me start thinking about or feeling what those characters were going through as they were going through it. Like the anxiety. You remember I think it was the first episode when Tick was driving and they were I think they were with George, if I'm not mistaken. It was Letitia, Tick, and George that or Montrose maybe, where they were on the side of the road.
No, it was Letitia, Tick, and George. Montrose was, he was abducted for the first few couple episodes.
And they were looking for him. They were looking for him. That's what it was.
Yes.
But they were in some county. I think they were Tick and Letitia were looking at something in the woods, and that cop came up to them, pulled up to them. The anticipation that you felt during that entire encounter, like it made you feel like you were actually there. And that's what I will say.
And you know what? Show. I would agree. When you just brought it up, it brought it to my forefront. It does make you feel the emotion like you're there. Because when the cop car pulled up, I felt my stomach drop. Like, yeah, this the time that you're patrolling.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they had like a certain time limit to get out of the city, and he was just on their tail, like you really felt every inch. And the way they drug that scene out, like usually scenes just kind of skip straight to the, they skip some of the car riding stuff, but the way they followed them all the way through, it really made you like, okay.
Yeah.
And then for them to actually not get away, I kind of saw it coming though. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of saw that one coming.
I'm gonna be honest, there were certain things just from a production standpoint that I assumed specific things would happen, but I had my doubts. Usually with some things can feel predictable to you. Like you already know the pattern of how different stories go just as a viewer. But there were certain, I don't know what they did. Maybe it was a little bit of music score, maybe it was a little bit of just facial expressions and stuff like that. But there were certain elements to how they told this story that made me not feel as if it was predictable. You know what I'm saying? And I think that I think they told Black history.
You know what? I think they took a predictable story and put in unpredictable elements. So
Right, right.
you expected them to to not really get away across that railroad, but did you expect for that monster to come out the ground and bite the officer's head off?
Hell no.
Not at all.
That scared the hell out of me.
You was like, now wait a minute, now Lovecraft Country. That's when the story took a
Yeah.
spin for like, okay, I see we on for a ride now. We
Yeah.
riding.
Yeah. Yeah, they the way that they told Black history um 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 stories and even just the perspective of being Black
And
during
yeah,
this
that's what I was
time
gonna say.
period.
Like, cause even beyond Black history, they kind of told the story of being a Black woman in America, being a Black
Right.
man in America, or just the struggle in general
Which is interesting
of
because
even a white person in America. They even gave you that story.
right. But see, that's actually interesting you said it like that because I don't know that we get a lot of Black uh Black female perspectives within that time period. A lot of the stuff we hear because also a lot of people that a lot of our Black heroes during that time were more vocal or more recognized were men. So to be able to tell a lot of the stories from a female perspective to me was actually refreshing. Not that the other stories
You know
weren't
what was
needed, but that was
refreshing to
refreshing.
me? The female side of the stories was with Hippolyta, the way they told
Yes.
her story. I
Yes.
really liked it. I really loved that. But Christina,
Mm-hmm.
the way they included her perspective, and
Yeah.
when, what was his name? It was just on the tip of my tongue. William
William.
changed into her. I was like, because I was expecting women. I was expecting him to change into a Black man.
That actually grossed the hell out of me.
It did gross me out as well. Even when the what was the Black woman, the Black actor's name? She changed to the white woman. That grossed me out as well. When
Yes.
she kind of
Yes.
just grabbed the skin off her. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. It was different. It was different. And for them to combine all these elements like sci-fi and Black history,
And they did make it pretty.
oh, there was nothing pretty about that. About that specific thing, with the
Oh yeah,
transformation.
about that specific thing, there was absolutely nothing.
That was gory as hell. I
It
don't
was
know if
grotesque,
yeah,
actually.
I think I had just finished eating too. So I was I was a little messed up. But
I think I was, because I always eat while I watch my TV shows.
yeah.
I'm a snacker while I like to eat. And so I
Yeah.
think the snacking was done at that point. I was like, you know what?
Yeah, me too.
Gonna take a
Me too.
break
Me
on the
too.
ho-hos and ring dings right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I mean, but they had a lot of elements with like even the spirituality, the dynamic. There was a lot of
Was there any element in there that kind of ignited a frustration in you? Because I'm just gonna most definitely say there was a part in there that ignited my frustration.
frustration. Um I would say the frustration was mainly at the race element. Like how white people thought at that time. I'm not gonna say that no one thinks like that anymore, but how mainstream that thought process was at that time. Um, to see the struggle that Atticus had with basic things, the struggle that Letitia had with basic things was very that was probably the most frustrating part about it to me. Um, of course, like you said, the historical aspect and everything like that, but it's still, uh, I think it. You know what? I'll say this. I think Lovecraft Country allows that element for white people to understand the black perspective, and for black people to feel vindicated because of certain things that happen with this show, and with this story. Um, Especially this show came at a time where we were already having a lot of things happen nationally. Uh, if I'm not mistaken, this was when did this show come out? This show came out last fall, right? Around that time.
Yeah, around that time, fall, because it was Halloween time.
Halloween time. So August. It came out August. So that's after all the stuff that happened last summer with George Floyd and everything, right? I think that was
Yes.
also another part of it for me. Feeling how fresh all of those incidents were this past year, like Ahmaud Arbery and everyone like that this happened to, like I think that was another element that allowed me to dive deeper into this story, right?
I think where I felt the most brunt of is the racial problems is when the little girl was hexed. So you
Yeah.
kind of saw
Oh
the
yeah.
racism being played out on an on an innocent child.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of see that nobody is spared, or that we spare no expense when it came to certain actions that they did. And we kind of like to envision a certain thing when it comes to that time period, that kids were immune to such things that happened back then, but that kind of showed us that they most definitely were not.
Oh no.
And I feel like as a mother, that ignited some of my frustration, that she was roaming around for quite a while alone as a
Mm-hmm.
child.
Mm-hmm.
And and although her mother was nowhere to be found, but it was of no, you know, thought of her own. She just got stuffed into a machine. She couldn't be there. And then, like, she did. She just got stuffed
Yeah.
into a machine. She was just gone. Poof.
She was
She
preoccupied.
out of here. And then, Tisha, she got her stuff going on, and Tick has his things going on, and her
Yeah.
father is, of course, deceased. So she's kind of left in the world alone. And I was frustrated because I just wanted someone to realize the little girl just needs some help. So it kind of
Yeah.
tugged at a whole bunch of different strings that, so you probably might didn't get that string because you don't have any kids that I know
No.
about. Unless you got
No.
some secret,
Not that I
unless
know
you
of.
got some secret kids over there, Derek. You got some kids in the back there. Get
Nah.
them out the closet.
My only baby is OTS.
Okay, cool. I'm just saying, you gotta have your kids in the closet, Derek.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let them come out and play.
Shoot, that'd be a
But
shock to
no,
me
I
if there
feel
was
like
any.
it was a lot of emotional strings in there for a lot of different people. Like when she went to work and got
Yeah.
payback
Yeah.
on the man.
Oh my God. I was see if
I
you
was not ready. That took me by complete surprise.
ready. That was probably the most that I screamed during that episode. I mean that series,
I did.
because that took me all the way by surprise. I whew, even I'm not gonna say he didn't deserve it. He deserved it, but that's what I'm saying. I think
I mean, he deserved it.
there was
It's like
but there was this feeling of vindication that I think Black people were able to feel watching this. But no, you there was a lot of vindication with this series that we necessarily didn't see with other. We don't necessarily get to see with other projects. Like, um, you can see something happen to a Black person where they're the victim of some type of crime or whatever, and then uh, they don't something doesn't happen fully where the white person that did something to them gets their just due. And I think that was actually, I hate to put it like this, um, but just as real as it can be, because coming off of a lot of stuff that we saw over the last few years in terms of national media, where we're seeing a lot of Black people get shot down and killed by cops, or someone's just not even have to be a cop. Like with Ahmaud Arbery, those weren't cops that killed him; those just racist white people that just didn't like seeing a Black man jog.
A
Trayvon
child
Martin, yeah, yeah,
walking with Skittles and tea,
yeah, and there's a lot of, like, coming off the back of a lot of these things that have happened, um where we don't see the vindication. We just see a lot of these white people get they left off the hook or whatever, let off the hook, and it is frustrating. I think that's where Lovecraft Country puts that into his own, takes on that responsibility of giving that vindication when you're seeing a Black person that's wronged. So it's a fictional story, but you still get that vindication, which I felt was actually very much so needed during that time period. So I would say that's probably one of the my one of the biggest things that, to me, whether they did that purposefully or not, because honestly, when they shot this was, I think they shot this in like 19. So for this to come 19 early 2020. So to come out late 2020, with all this happening, of course they're not going to know that that's going to take place, but you still feel that, like, that vindication was actually necessary and needed at that time. And that's what I will say. I that's what I appreciate the most about this show.
I do
Especially,
feel that it was a lot of vindictive moments in there where you feel like that justice was served almost.
right, 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 very much so.
How did you feel the part where they were playing the Ouija board and
Okay,
he asked him, Bubba, was he gonna have a good trip? And he said no.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't watch anything with Ouija boards. Any movies that I see that have Ouija boards in them, I fast forward it for the most part, because I don't I don't do that. This is,
Why? Why
I
no? Why, Derek?
listen.
Explain to me. Explain. Is it just the Ouija board and the idea that it's connected to
Yes,
the unknown in
yes,
the
yes,
Netherlands? You
yes,
gotta stop that.
yes, yes,
You gotta stop that.
yes. It's weird as hell. I don't.
It is
It's
weird, but
weird
it's
as hell.
also, do you believe in ghosts, Derek?
Okay, I'll put it like this. I don't know, and I'm not going to tempt the unknown.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm
Fair
not
enough.
tempting it.
Fair enough.
I'm not tempting it. So yeah, this is the first time that I watched something with a Ouija board actively being used in the show. Any other
They
movie?
did kind of pop it in there on you. You didn't know it was popping up in there until it kind of popped up on you.
Yeah,
So
yeah. They threw
yeah,
it out there. They threw it out there, but I knew there was a
they made that
reason
move
for it.
with you in mind. They
Right.
say Derek won't get over this one.
Well, think about it. As Black people, you don't see Black people messing with spirits.
And not the Ouija board, because those are forbidden in our households.
That's
My
what I'm
mom
talking
was like,
about.
baby, if you
Grew up in
don't
church.
look at it,
Yeah. We don't. That ain't us.
buy it in the store. Don't look at it. Look that way.
Yeah, look the other way. Exactly. I've never even seen a Ouija board in person.
Me
I've never,
either.
I've never seen a box. So I, like, yeah. So the idea of seeing one on film or TV I was always like, okay. But that's also like you said, that's the way we came up, especially if you grew up
Yeah,
in the church.
It's just instilled in us to not mess with those. Now,
Yeah.
in person, I'm not gonna lie, I don't mess with those either. Like
Mhm.
if I see a box, I'm just gonna act like I don't see it type stuff. Like
Yeah.
if I've been in your house, I'll pretend I don't.
Right.
I'm not coming back either because I'm like,
Or
wait a minute, not
if I
inviting
if I
the
walk in
spirits.
someone's house, yeah, that's over. Yeah, I'm deleting your number and everything.
But I think this is the stigma we put around a Ouija board, though. We just taught to
Yeah.
not play
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of something that it's kind of stuck with me. Just do not play with the Ouija board.
Well, are you
Would
into
I be
horror
open to
films?
one as an adult? I don't think so.
Oh, I know I wouldn't be. That's over. I ain't messing with that. But are you into horror films? Because that's also another thing that's kind of
And
like
it's a
going
horror
hand in hand.
films. Large, yes.
Okay. Because that's another thing, another aspect of like just being black and spirituality thing, like not watching horror films.
And I like that Lovecraft Country also incorporated a horror aspect into the show.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
It
horror,
was like
sci-fi, and
comedy,
black history.
horror, Civil War. It was a whole bunch of things. Just
Yeah. Yeah. They did a phenomenal job with that. I'm looking forward to
they did.
if we get a second season, which I don't see how we can't. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do with this.
Do you think Tick is gonna stay dead? If he do, I'm gonna be extremely upset. They better bring him back some type of way. I don't care if they gotta send him alive back into the universe to find the secrets of life and death, and then come back and resurrect him from the dead. They better bring my guy back. I don't think it's
I
fair to
don't
have to live
see
without Tick now.
I don't see how you can do the show without him, because just in general, Jonathan Majors, in general, I think he's now getting his foot into I wouldn't say into acting, but into being a mainstream face. So if I'm not mistaken, I think he's actually signed on with a Marvel or DC character. I forget what.
Really?
I think so. I could be wrong
You know
about
what?
that.
I honestly don't feel like they could have found a better person to play Tick.
I don't
He
think
was
so either.
pretty spot on.
Which is very interesting because of the fact that yes, he's going to be Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So that's
The villain.
yeah, yeah. So I think I will say excuse me, for someone that we don't know, we don't we weren't familiar for the most part familiar with Jonathan Majors at all before this show. And I think that that was actually a great move by the producers to bring on someone that um is fairly unknown. I think the biggest person is Courtney Vance, and also was it Journey Smollett.
Yes.
Um,
Journey Smollett, Juicy.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Ever
I didn't
since
want to
I
say
heard
that.
Dave
I know.
Chappelle say that man's name, Juicy, in that stand up, I'm sorry, I got all them folks' wrong name. I think it's Smollett or something like that. I don't know. Juicy Couture. That's what their name is. The name
That's
Juicy Couture. That's what it is.
That's exactly what I
Juicy.
didn't want to say, because I was sitting, I was like, hold up. I don't know if I'm saying Smollett or Journey or Journey. That did mess me up. So yeah, thanks, Dave.
It's Journey. But Dave Chappelle just plays entirely too much. I love him though. That whole stand up threw me when he got to the
amazing,
L, the G's. Man,
amazing. He's the best storyteller of our generation, and
he is.
I love him.
The way
I
he
love him.
gives you raw information in the cutthroat way, but
He's-
still it's funny.
He will tell you what's about to happen, make you forget it, and then you remember at the end.
Once he tells you the joke,
Yeah,
punchline, like
he tells you the punchline from the start. That's
he was. I
phenomenal.
really underrated Dave Chappelle at first. Then my father gave me some Dave Chappelle TV show cassettes. Well, not cassettes. It was DVDs. It
DVDs,
wasn't
yeah.
cassettes.
Yeah.
It wasn't the VHS. It wasn't VHS. But after those shows, I was hooked. His style of comedy is really beyond our time.
I actually just started. binge watched the first 2 seasons. Well, the only
Of
seasons.
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I binge watched those for the first time in years. Um,
So you know who my favorite character is?
who?
Rick James.
Rick James.
They should have never gave you niggas money. We got on his couch. He had the heels on, and he started just ramming his leg into the sofa. I was like, what is wrong with this man?
Every time I laid on my parents' couch, I always thought about that.
I did too. I was like, yeah, I got something for her next time. I never did it though.
Oh, I never did
got
it either.
the
Oh, hell no.
I wasn't prepared. My balls weren't that big.
Nah,
but I thought about it. I was like, they should have never gave my mama this couch. But yeah.
But I can honestly say that when I rewatched, I watched it after Netflix put it back on, because he got his licensing back for that show recently.
And yeah, because Comedy Central was tripping.
But they got that pressure. And I will say, I hope that he comes back with another season. I hope he revamps that show, because I would love to see if Tyrone Biggums is even alive now. I would love to see what happens with the Player Haters Club. I would love to
see a lot of things.
Yeah.
I would love to see Rick James acting a fool again.
Yeah, but see,
cocaine is a hell of a drug.
It's a hell of a drug. The only downside is...
I also want to see if he's still... What was the character name who thought he was white because he was a blind and he was in the KKK?
Clayton Bigsby. Oh, Clayton Bigsby as a Trump supporter would be amazing. That
baby.
Oh my God.
He needs to go ahead and make us another Dave Chappelle. Make us another season, baby. We need one more out of you.
I will say though, the only downside of him coming back, if he were to come back now, the only downside to it is Charlie Murphy's gone. So, and I think that Charlie Murphy was actually a very integral part of that show. Like, he's probably not someone that a lot of people remember, but if you're a fan of the show, you remember Charlie Murphy, because his Hollywood stories. Oh my God!
I mean, Charlie Murphy did more than just Dave Chappelle. He did movies as well.
Right.
I always remember because I'm like, oh, that's the Eddie Murphy lookalike. That's the guy.
You know what? I will go.
But he kind of got his own name after a while. I'm like, okay, that's Charlie Murphy. I see him working.
I will probably live the rest of my life with the belief that Charlie Murphy was Respucia.
You think so? You don't think it was Eddie Murphy?
I don't know. But see, here's the thing. I have a doubt about it. Because...
What's your doubt?
The face structure. Like, even under prosthetics, you can tell it's Eddie, right? Like with Norbit, not Norbit, but
Nutty Professor.
Nutty Professor, thank you. Even with Coming to America, you can tell it's Eddie. But there's something about Respucia that makes me question if that was Eddie or not. And I don't know. It most likely was.
You know what?
It most likely was. But the look.
I get what you're saying too. And I don't know if it's just because the character was fat and overweight and the way they did the prosthetics, but it was something about it that just wasn't Eddie, wasn't it?
It's the nose. Like, if you look at Charlie, it's the nose and the eyes.
You're gonna make me go back and watch Norbit, and I ain't even like the movie.
I know, right? You have to go back and watch it, because ever since I saw that, I was like the very first time, I'm like, hold up, something. The eyes are further apart a little bit than Eddie's. It looks like Charlie. And I know Eddie would give Charlie that credit if it was actually Charlie. But the conspiracy theorist in me believes that was Charlie Murphy, not Eddie. I'll say it like that, because there's something that's different. This is different. And the way that the way you would see like Charlie on the Chappelle show, with all the little ticks, the little shake that he was doing when he was in the Player Haters Ball, all those little things, those nuances that he had, like, it's just something different about him when you compare that to Eddie. And I don't know that
You're making me think now.
I know it. Like it's something about it. It's something about it. I don't even know if I've ever really spoken about this publicly. I think I've only said this to my sister, but I've always had
Something
my
about the
doubts.
Rasputia is not right. Can't put your
Something about
finger on it.
Rasputia, yeah, something about Rasputia doesn't feel like Eddie to me. It feels like
This
Charlie.
man out here having emotional connections to Eddie Murphy and stuff. I'm over it. Derrick. Making me second guess my watching material. So I gotta go back and watch because
Just
it was something about Rasputia that just wasn't Eddie. But I just figured it's just because of the way they made her prosthetics. They did make them kind of poorly.
yeah,
Didn't like them. Didn't care for it at all.
yeah, yeah. I like the eye set and the nose just screams Charlie to me. It doesn't scream Eddie.
It could be because they were so close in. They do look alike.
Oh,
They honestly
they
do.
look alike. They look alike, but you can tell one, they're not twins, right? But Charlie just has this different structure to his face that Eddie doesn't. Even though they look alike, he just has a different structure, and that structure is what I see with Rasputia.
You go.
That's
Now
that's
I gotta
all.
go put a picture up to next to the TV the next time I go watch Rasputia with Charlie Murphy and see is he the daddy.
Yeah.
Gotta do him
Yeah.
like that.
It's just something about Rasputia that just does not scream Eddie to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And Eddie is the king of doing those multiple roles. And he's the king of that, and he's also the king of all-star cast for films. The king. You've
He
never seen
he
one of those movies
is. He's always in pretty good company on whatever movie he's in.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, but specifically with the all-star cast, you've never seen one of those flop. There's none of those have ever done poorly. Coming to America.
But you know what? Eddie Murphy was that guy for quite a while.
For sure, for sure, for sure. But it's just something about Eddie that is just different. It's just something different. But I would love to
He
see.
has like a corny type of humor feel to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't want to laugh, but you laughing anyway. And you don't understand why. He kind of grows. He grew on me as a child. That's kind of how it was. Like,
Yeah,
this guy's corny, but I'm laughing. I don't like it. Turn
yeah,
him off, but turn him on.
yeah. Yeah, and
But Coming to America was that movie though.
for sure. Most definitely.
You ready for 2?
I'm beyond ready. I haven't watched the trailer. Now I did hear.
I haven't watched the trailer yet either for that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Really, I did hear something.
I want to be surprised. You're right. They do spoil things in the trailer. I want to be surprised. I want to laugh.
Remember when we were kids?
I don't want to laugh on the commercial.
Right. And remember when we were kids, movie trailers used to be like a minute and a half long, if that. Well, maybe closer to 2 minutes. Now they're closer to about 3.5 minutes. Two.
And then you have multiple trailers as well.
Yes, that's the problem. That's the problem. I'm fine with one trailer that doesn't give a lot out. You just kind of set up the synopsis with a trailer and just leave a cliffhanger. If you do something like that, cool.
I feel like they should go with a different format for trailers besides
they should go back to how they were doing it.
Movie clips.
Yes. You should go back to how you were doing it. 1.5 minutes long, 1:45, somewhere in that range. Give a brief synopsis. Let's see who's in the film. Boom.
It's okay. You know what? OTS gonna bring it back in style.
Oh, we're gonna definitely do that. That's how we're gonna do our trailer.
We're gonna show them how to make.
That's how we're gonna do it. Spoiler-free trailers. Oh, I think we lost you, Cleo.
That because now
Cleo,
I'm not scared no more.
Repeat what you just said because it just blanked out.
Oh, I was gonna say, in horror movies they tend to. I forgot what I said. Now, Derrick, can't do me like that. You know I'm older now. You can't be playing with my mind like this. Keep the pace up on here because my mind pace is not up there like it's supposed to be. What was I gonna say though? No, horror movies. Oh, with the trailers, yes, they'll show every part that makes you bump and stuff like that in the actual trailer or commercial. And by the time you watch, you're not scared, like
Right.
because you
Right.
you already seen little Annabelle jump out this closet 5,000 times. Like I don't care, girl.
Yeah.
Get in there and get a broom because
Yeah. Yeah.
you got all
Yeah.
these toys everywhere. Clean it up, get it together. I'm over at
Hey,
this point.
The Conjuring. That oof.
Let me say, The Conjuring is my baby. That and Insidious, those two.
I can't say Insidious did anything for me.
You know what? The first one, the way they made the demon, the red faced demon,
mhm.
I don't like it because I was scared the whole movie until I saw him. Like, let me
Right.
tell you, I was shaking in my space boots. And then I saw him, and I was like, did y'all really paint a short white man with some red paint and put some hooves on him and think I was gonna be scared? And y'all got him running through this attic. Sit down. Y'all didn't try to put no special effects on him. Y'all just painting his body, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like that.
See, that's the thing. Even with horror films, like I know from a production standpoint how things happen, but when you can take me out of my production element and I'm an audience member, you got me. You got me.
So did Insidious do that for you?
I can't say it did. It was just an okay movie for me. It was all right.
Mm.
Now,
Some
The
days I'm glad to
Conjuring,
be a viewer, not a producer, because
yeah.
I like Insidious. The first one was kind of, because the red faced demon, it really did throw me. Like
Mhm.
it just from that moment on, and it
I
was the
think
end of the
that's
movie as well.
yeah. I think that's why it threw me off too. Like Paranormal Activity, The Conjuring, those made me stand up. Like if I'm at my desk watching a movie, and if you can get me to stand up and just be like, holy, like if you can get that kind of reaction out of
Now
me,
I don't
you did your job.
understand how you scared of Paranormal Activity. I'm still
Oh,
wondering.
now okay, I'll tell you exactly what happened. You remember? I think it was number two. I think it was Paranormal Activity 2 when Toby, I think that was his name, Toby, uh killed the family, and then he drugged the dad, he drugged the father's lifeless body down into the basement and then shut the
I
door.
don't think I watched Paranormal Activity 2. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, watch that.
After the first one, and I wasn't scared, I really didn't get back into them after that.
The first one got me too. I'm not gonna lie, it got me. But the second one really got me because there's a door in my parents' house that is very similar to that door.
Oh, you feel
It took,
connections with
let
the
me tell you,
door.
it took me the longest time to walk past that door. I walked clear around the house to
Not
avoid the
around
door.
it. How
Hell
old were
yeah,
you when you
hell
watched this
yeah,
movie?
hell yeah. Probably in college. Yeah, yeah.
Tripping.
I'm not
What kind of
ashamed to
weed
say
they
that.
have in your college?
I see. I didn't smoke any at college.
And then he said, "Yeah, ooh,
I smoked after college.
how
Just
you
because
gonna wait till after
I
you
didn't
done
live on
started
campus. I
smoking,
didn't live on
man?"
campus. I didn't live on campus. It's a whole other story. My path and my journey is so weird and different than from other people.
Mine is as well. Don't feel
Like,
bad. I didn't live on campus. I still smoked some weed though,
oh,
but
I
it wasn't
smoked.
on campus.
Don't get it twisted. I smoked, but that was after college. I didn't trust those people. I never trust them enough to smoke around them.
Well, I went to a home college, so I knew people.
Yeah, yeah. See,
Different.
I went to 4 different colleges, so by the time I got to actually trust anyone, that wasn't
If you don't stop trying to hear me, then
happening. It just took a long time, but yeah, yeah. I walked past. I didn't walk past that door for a little, maybe like 2 weeks.
hey, it's cool though. It's cool. I went to several colleges as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I just decided the last one was gonna be it for me.
Oh, the last one was it for me too. I'm not going back.
After culinary school, I said, you know what? I can cook. That's good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. But and that's actually another thing that messed up some movies for me was learning in film school certain elements of production, what's it called, color, like how color affects mood. Yeah, how color affects mood. So like, um, I think blues are more calming. Reds are like more uh get you more
And see,
hyped
that's
up.
why blue is my favorite color because
Mm-hmm.
it's all serene and stuff. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the color of my room.
it
Yeah.
looks great through the camera.
Yeah, no, it's bluer. It's more blue. That's probably just my camera and my light, but yeah, it's
That's
more
a
blue.
good choice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you did your thing.
Thank you.
So what
Yeah.
color? So what is red ignite? Passion.
Red
I'm
is
just guessing.
passion. Red is also like
That's right.
a little bit of
You
excitement. So
don't
you
know a few things.
yeah, so with like you'll see some red in like romance films, but you'll see red in horror films. So it like color incites different reactions out of the audience that you just normally would not even think about. I forgot
Because
some of the other
you're right. I
colors.
honestly never thought that colors was a big thing in
Yeah.
production. You know how you relate the story to the audience.
Yeah, so that's why when I'm watching certain films like Insidious, if I saw red, I know what's about to happen. I know that the story's about to amp up a little bit. So I'm really kind of like thinking about things from that perspective. It's that's why
That
like
is, I never thought about things like this. So
yeah.
I see red. The story's about to, if it's a horror
It
movie.
depends. Yeah, I would say it depends on the actual story because red for romance films that's just passion. So it's more so it's not about like the storytelling itself. It's just that's just what you associate love with for some reason. I don't know why we associate it with red, but probably love
Probably because we
and heart.
associate hearts with
Yeah,
red,
blood. Even
even
though
though
blood is
hearts
blue
are technically blue on the inside of your body, right?
and blood is as
Because your
well.
blood is blue on the inside of your body. I don't know. I'm probably nerding out too hard right now.
No, no, no.
But
Blood is the same way. So it's blue until it gets oxygen, and then once it gets oxygen, it turns red. Yeah,
and then it turns black eventually. So I don't know. I don't know why red is the color that gets stuck on the most. It's
I,
red the least amount of time.
exactly.
That's usually how it works with these humans.
Yeah.
They know what to say about them.
We're a special breed, huh? That is weird, but yeah, it really depends on what film you're watching. I gotta look into the other colors because I forgot what those were, but different colors incite different reactions. So it's also couple that with music. So if you hear the music score, if you hear it subtly like starting to play in, it's a suspense movie, you know something's about to happen. Not just based on
Okay, I,
someone
I picked up on
creepy.
that. You hear that subtle music in the background, and like the louder and louder it is, you're getting closer to the thing that's about to make you
Hmm.
go, "Oh, I see what
Hmm.
y'all did
Yeah, it's a
there."
ramp. It's a ramp up. So like music and color, if you didn't have that with film, the film itself is going to be lacking. It doesn't matter who you have in the film itself. The actor can be Denzel Washington or whoever. If
I believe this girl could pull that thing on through. Now,
he
I
could,
wholeheartedly believe this
he
to
could,
pull the performance on through.
he could. Here's the thing: music and color take it to another level. It's just those elements just for some reason are just that's just a part of it, a part of storytelling. Like think about like what we were talking about with Lovecraft Country. It, all the color, all the music, it made you just like like you hone in on the story and you're caught up with the reactions that they have. So it's a lot of stuff that goes into that. But it's something that a lot of people don't think about, So
And I kind of want to touch on this real fast. How did you feel about Judas and the Black Messiah?
ooh, I loved it. I loved it. But when I
It's the but for me.
yeah, when I realized now I knew Fred Hampton was 21. I didn't realize how young William was. Oh, was it O'Leary? I think that was his last name.
O'Neal.
O'Neill. I knew it was some Irish name. It when when I realized how old he actually was versus what
How old
Keith
was
Stanfield.
O'Neill?
O'Neill was like, I think he was like 17, 18, 19 at the latest. Like he was in that range. So these are young guys. So now it makes you think, you understand his reasoning to work with the FBI a lot more than you would as someone that's like 30 some years old, right? And you and
Yeah, and it makes sense what he said in his interview where he was like, we didn't have many role models. He was mine because he was 17. He was just kind of figuring out life, doing the wrong things already, stealing
yeah,
cars.
right, right,
So he just kind of got pulled into something and he had no idea what he was being pulled into. Like,
right. And not just the age aspect, but if you think like one element that I really wish that they had included, which is why I almost feel like we're going to get another Fred Hampton biopic sometime down the road. I don't think that it's going to be anytime soon, but I think we're going to get a different one sometime down the road, because it didn't tell the story of how Fred got into the Black Panther Party. That's what I wanted to know. That's what I wanted to feel, because that connection,
and I did
that
too.
aspect would have
I
been a
kind of
lot
thought
different.
they were going to have that element in there.
Yeah, yeah,
Like the
that would have
start of the Black Panther Party. They
right.
kind of have skipped straight to him already having it going. Like he's already got his chapter started.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why they did that. Like it would have been a longer movie had they started at the beginning and then kind of moved all the way through his life to that point.
Well,
But
you don't have to do anything long. 15 minutes on 10, 15 minutes on the early stage, literally showing how he got inspired, showing how he got connected with the Black Panther Party. Fast forward. We see that jump cut all the time with films or TV. Like they fast forward 20 years, they fast forward maybe like 5 years or whatever, but it's something that we can see that that is, something that tells that story, tells that element, and then also allows you to get to the point. And that's actually the aspect that I would have loved to have seen with this. But that, like, I think Daniel Kalua, Kaluuya, I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but I think he did a phenomenal job as Fred Hampton.
do you feel this movie was meant to be more about Fred Hampton or O'Neill?
I think this was more of O'Neill's perspective. I think it
I do
was,
believe that as well.
and that's what I don't like. Like, I think that if we had seen, I don't think we needed to see a little bit of as much as we saw with him, because this was supposed to be. That's another reason why I'm saying I think we're going to get a Fred Hampton biopic, because this was not. This was supposed to be, to me. This was supposed to be more of a telling of Fred's story, not O'Neill's story. And that's the only thing that I was kind of like, like I'm kind of iffy on that. I will say though, the one thing that I think they did a phenomenal job with was telling the story from a female perspective. Um, Dominique Fishback, that woman, man, she I had only seen her in one other project, which was Project Power. Actually, I think that's the name of the movie. The movie with Jamie Foxx. She
I
was in.
don't think I've seen that one.
It's on Netflix.
I think I know what you're talking about, though. I don't think I've seen it though, but I think I know what you're talking about.
She did a great job in that movie, right? And that's my first introduction to her. I know she's been in other projects, but that was my first introduction to her. And to see her in that, and then also see her in this movie, the entire movie, I was sitting here, I'm like, my God, why does she look familiar? I couldn't place her for anything. I just knew she looked familiar. And then it wasn't until like 2 days after I saw the movie that I read something on Twitter. I'm like, hold up, that was her. It's like, okay. See, she did a phenomenal job. I want to see
She
more
did.
Dominic Fishback, but to show the Black Panther Party from the perspective of a Black woman, I thought was a phenomenal decision. I would like to see. I would like to see more. I think there are a ton of stories that we can have from the Black Panther Party in general. Like, do we
I
have
mean, I think they did try to include as many stories as they could. Because they even
right,
showed Jimmy Palmer,
right,
his death and how he died.
right?
They showed quite a few people, and then him meeting with his mom,
Mm-hmm.
to discuss his death and how she wanted him to be remembered for more than just, someone who was the murderer. Because if I'm not mistaken, Jimmy Palmer, no, it was Jake. Jake
Jake,
Wentz
yes,
is who I'm thinking about
yes,
at
yes.
the end, because he killed the officer while he was running from the officers, because he was trying to find out how his friend died, which
Mm-hmm.
was Jimmy Palmer, who died in the
Mm-hmm.
hospital when they killed
Yes,
him.
yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
it was quite a few things going on in that movie.
Mm-hmm. There was a lot going on.
They kind of muddled the point they were trying to make a little bit, but
Yeah,
it
and
was still very powerful and impactful.
I watched a like a brief documentary on YouTube the other day. You remember that scene where they had the shootout with the cops and
In the store.
no, not the store, the in the Black Panther party headquarters,
Okay, yes.
where they had that shootout and then all of a sudden the cops blew it up. Um, the documentary that I watched was actually saying that the fire was actually on the third floor, not the first floor. So you remember how they went in and they just poured gas on the first floor and that was it. There was actually the third floor, um, and that's something that, like, those little things to me add up to a lot. I feel like if we're doing a movie based on someone's life, that like it shouldn't there's I don't know how far you go with embellishment or creative direction, because that's an actual thing that happened. That's an actual thing that happened. And to put it on the first floor, like the way they did, that's kind of like, that's a little weird. I don't understand. There was nothing that really would have changed if you had just put it on the third floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's little elements like that between that and O'Neill's age and Fred Hampton's age versus the character, the guys that actually played those characters, threw me off a little bit. Phenomenal film. I hope they get awards for that. But that threw me off. That threw me off, and I don't know
Yeah,
who you.
I think it was a lot of because I haven't seen a documentary of any kind about them so far. I do know some things about the Black Panther Party, but
Mhm.
some of the details in the movie were made for production, and
Yeah.
not actual details of real life. They
Mhm.
do that quite often, just probably assuming the audience doesn't really know, which
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you're telling the story, you have to assume you're telling the story to people that don't know. And this is actually a point that Chris Ali from No Chase Film Society. This is a point that he actually made. I think that with films like this, and this film had a white writer. So the guy that wrote the screenplay, the lead writer on the screenplay, was a white man, and it's kind of weird. It almost makes me feel like, there's a bit of a we should be telling our own stories, bottom line. And I like, as phenomenal as
the
this movie
connection
was,
with the story isn't there.
it's not there. It's not there. And I would like for us to tell our stories for sure. Ryan Coogler was a producer on this. I think he and his wife both were producers on it, but they weren't executive producers. Um, so it's like little things like that. I would like to see, I would like to see this story redone. I honestly would, because it's as great as it was. It could have been even better if it was done historically accurate. I
It
understand.
could have been.
Yeah,
It did a
like,
great job at pulling emotions.
it did. It did.
It did a wonderful job at that, but overall, I liked the movie because it was able to pull out my, like, this is the first time I watched the movie in a long time, and I was as emotional as I was. I remember stopping the movie at some points because the movie kind of really incited some emotions in me, especially the William O'Neill's character. It kind of
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing.
I didn't know how to feel, like, because I feel bad for him. Like, this is this young man, he just got caught in something he really had no honest idea what he was agreeing to.
Mm-hmm.
But he continued on with it, and you see the struggle.
Yeah.
In the scene where he was in the church with his fist in the air, it was the funeral, and the police officer or the FBI agent was in the audience watching him.
Yeah.
And it was like, there's no whisper for the weary around here. This young man can't catch a break. Like,
yeah, but
he's scared every second because he's a rat.
Yeah. And think about that, being 17 years old with that weight on you, right? Like, it's kind of, it makes a story it makes a story a little easier to understand. So, like, with him, with his character, um like, I felt everything he was going through. Like, I could understand the reasons for his decisions, but at the same time, I I was disconnected, because I'm thinking, watching the movie, I'm thinking, this is a 30 something year old man, and I'm like, why are you possibly could go to jail for 5 to 6 years for what you did. Why would you exchange the life of another man for 5 or 6 years? That's what I was thinking about. And then when I found out later, after watching the movie, that O'Neill was actually 17 years old, I'm like, Jesus, that makes sense.
They did make him seem older in the movie.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I didn't know he was that young. You just said that.
Yeah.
In the movie, they make him seem like he's, in his mid-20s. I was thinking mid-20s because, Fred was so young. He was 21. I knew that.
Right.
So I knew that he couldn't have been too much older than that.
Right.
To running around with these guys,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could have been, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah. They all look, I mean, even at 21, think about it. Have you seen some of, like, Fred Hampton's speeches?
A couple.
Didn't he look like he was just, like, late 30s, early 40s at 21?
He did look older than his time. That's all
Yes.
I'm gonna say about Fred.
He looked older.
He did look older than his time.
He did look old, which
I was shocked to find out he was so young. I'm gonna put it like that.
Right, which makes me okay with the Daniel Kaluuya casting.
And he accomplished so much. It's probably why he looks so old. They was wearing his beard.
That's also why he was murdered. Because if you think about it, like, he accomplished so much for Black people at 21 years old. Your brain isn't even fully developed until you're about 25. So what more could he have done at 25, 30, 45, 35, 40? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot that could have been done. I mean, if he was still alive, I think he'd be like 70 something years old.
I feel like the possibilities are unimaginable at that point, because the system he set up and his way with words and how he connected people of all backgrounds, of all struggles, because he kind of identified all struggles to each other. It's the same fight. It's just got a different face on it.
Yeah.
This is the face for us and that's the face for you, but it's the same fight.
Same fight. Yep. No, I agree, but I would love to see a biopic, another one.
1 out of 10, 1 through 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the least. Go ahead and give me a rate for Judas and the Black Messiah.
Rating. I'm gonna give it a 9.5. I'm gonna give it 9.5. I think that this is a phenomenal movie. I really do. But I think
pretty top tier.
Yeah. It's still, if you're looking for a movie to just, like, watch and be informed, but also be, like, thrilled by, like, this is still a thriller at the end of the day.
It is.
This is a movie for you for sure. But if you're looking for historical accuracy for every single aspect of it, you're not going to get all that here. Just truth be told.
And for that reason, I would give it an 8.5. Like, the movie itself and the way the story was written, phenomenal. They pulled the emotions, but, like,
Mm-hmm.
When you're making a story based off factual events, it needs to always maintain that level of accuracy. And the fact that they don't respect history in that manner, it blows me. But you know what? I'm not gonna be upset about it because Greek mythology is also someone else's real history, and we be playing with this. So I'm gonna shut up.
Hey, that, yes, most definitely. And what's her name?
So 1 through 10. Hold up. Lovecraft Country.
Oh, Lovecraft Country is a 10, hands down. No
10.
doubt about it.
I
Yeah.
I throw it
Um,
a 10. I throw it a 10.
that Judy Harmon character was actually
I
fabulous.
can't think of it. I'm trying to hate on it. If I can find something wrong with it, but Lovecraft Country really was
Oh, there was nothing wrong with it.
all that my young black child ever wanted and got as an adult.
Yeah, the only thing that was wrong with it is that it ended.
Basically.
That's really
And
it.
that tick died. I don't like that. Oh no, and that Letitia's sisters died. Letitia's sister died. I don't like that either. Christina killed her. Because they sent her to get Christina blood,
Oh, that's
and
right.
it was
That's
not
right. That's right. That's
successful.
right. Yeah. Man. Yeah. This is a phenomenal show.
Man, I'm
Phenomenal show.
dropping my rate. They get 9 stars for that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I feel
now
you
I
on
have
that.
not seen One Division, so I cannot give it a rate. But you've seen it, so I'm gonna go off your rating.
10.
10.
10.
You know what? And I don't even know why I asked you to rate that because it's Wonder. Like, what else was you gonna say?
Yeah.
It's Wonder.
10.
10.
The first couple of episodes, I'm like, where are they going with this? When you find out where they're going with it, oh my god, phenomenal. I
That
can't
makes
wait
me
to
go home and binge
it.
watch this show for the
Go
next
binge
20
watch it.
hours.
Yeah, go binge watch it. It's worth it. It's worth it. And I think the episode's only like 30 minutes long. They're not that long. Not that long. So
That's not bad at all. I probably
yeah.
watch all those in one day.
Yeah, you should be able to. You should be able to.
Cool.
It's a great show. We'll have to discuss it when you watch it.
I will. I'll let you know when I watch it so that way we can arrange
Yes.
the conversation. Because I already know I'm going to want to talk about it because I love Wanda.
Yes.
That's one of my most favorite Marvel Avengers.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But
Most definitely.
yeah, but
It's been real.
give them your social media.
You can catch me at Cleo Will Made It on Instagram.
All right.
And you can catch me on Realish. Of course, look at me. I'm here now.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
And I'm glad you're on the show. I'm glad you're on the show.
I'm glad to be here. It's so much fun.
Yeah. And you can find me at Derrick_OTS, DERRICK, black way to spell it. But follow the brand. Don't follow me, follow the brand at OTS guys.
Follow both of them. Follow Derrick, follow the brand.
I don't
follow your girl.
Yeah. Yes,
most
please.
definitely follow the OTS page though. Whole bunch of funny posts and everything. Like,
yes,
you're not gonna be upset you did. Trust me, it's a conversation to be had.
It most definitely. And check out all the shows that we have under the brand. That's we have so many things. Life's a Botch, Past the Aux, What I Think About This Week, Iron Tremont, We Can Be Heroes. Which, if you're a comic book fan, go listen to it. Star Wars, they discuss all that stuff over there, and so much more. I see we have a fan question, which Dwayne, I apologize, I didn't see that till just now. But we'll have to get into that in the next episode because he's asking about our thoughts on the potential of the new Mortal Kombat movie.
I started watching the trailer. I have not finished.
Okay. See, I didn't watch the trailer.
Now you were right, Dwayne, when they make video games to movies, sometimes it just does not translate well. So hopefully they don't mess it up.
Yeah.
Because the last Mortal Kombat movie they made was ass.
It was. It was, and I didn't watch it.
There's no nice way to say that it sucked. Big time. I was disappointed.
Yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to get fans into a video game through a movie if you're putting that out. I just say that. But I'm looking forward to this one. I'm looking for. I didn't watch the trailer, but I'm looking forward to this film. And that's actually gonna be on HBO Max.
Did you get a chance to watch Dragon Ball Z Power of the God Battle of the Gods?
No, I didn't. I don't even
Man,
know.
you gotta watch that movie. We gotta discuss that.
I didn't see it anywhere unless I just
I'm gonna buy it for you one day, and you're gonna watch it, and
I
we're
will
gonna
check
talk
it out.
about it.
See, that's the thing. I need to get in. I'm not into Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff, so
You don't need. You just need to watch this one movie. This one movie. It's it. Let me tell you.
I will watch it.
You gotta watch it.
I will watch it.
I want to tell you, but I can't because you gotta watch it.
I'll check it out then. All right, but yeah, catch us on all platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, iHeartRadio. Please
Everything.
subscribe to the YouTube channel, OTS YouTube channel. And we are at 109 subscribers right now, so we are climbing up the ranks. You know, this thank God. Yeah, but thank you all for listening or watching, and we will catch you all next time.